How does it feel to be useless, son? My mom laughed in front of the whole family. I looked at her calmly and said, feels great since I just stopped paying your rent. Her smile vanished. My dad froze, then shouted, rent? What rent? How does it feel to be useless, son? My mother's voice carried across the Thanksgiving table. 23 people, 3 generations, all watching me with varying degrees of pity and amusement. I set down my fork very carefully, looked at her, at that satisfied smirk she always wore when she thought she'd landed a particularly good dig. Feels great, I said. Really great, actually, since I just stopped paying your rent. The smirk died instantly. My father's fork clattered onto his plate, the sound sharp in the sudden silence. Rent? What rent? Nobody moved. 23 people frozen mid-chew, mid-sip, mid-breath. Mom's face flushed bright red. He's lying. He's embarrassed that I called him out. Called me out for what? I kept my voice level, calm. For being useless? The useless son who's been paying $1,500 a month for the last 3 years? That kind of useless? My Aunt Rosa's hand went to her mouth. Uncle Mike's eyes went wide. You told me you owned that house, Dad said slowly, each word deliberate. His gaze hadn't left Mom's face. You said your parents left it to you when they died. They did! Mom's voice went shrill. He's confused. He helped with some bills, that's all. Utilities. Small stuff. I have the lease agreement, I said. In my car. It's got your name on it. Your signature. Monthly rent, $1,500. Due the first of every month for the last 36 months. Want me to go get it? Uncle Mike leaned forward. Hold on. You've been renting this whole time? While telling everyone, he gestured around the table. That you owned it free and clear? Mom shot him a look that could have stripped paint. It's not what it sounds like. It sounds like you've been lying to everyone for 3 years, my sister Daniela said quietly. She was staring at Mom like she'd never seen her before. While making fun of Marcus for living in that tiny apartment, the 650 square foot studio in a building with paper-thin walls and a parking lot that flooded when it rained. I'd chosen it specifically because it was $800 a month, cheap enough that I could afford Mom's rent on top of my own. Marcus, my grandmother said carefully. She was 83, sharp as ever, watching this unfold with the intensity of someone doing complex math in her head. How long did you say you've been paying? 3 years, since November 2021, right after the divorce finalized. I looked at Dad. Remember when Mom said she was going to lose everything because you'd taken it all in the settlement? Dad's face had gone very pale. I didn't take anything. We split everything 50-50. The cars, the bank accounts, the retirement funds. I know that now, I said. I looked at the divorce decree 6 months ago. Community property, split down the middle. She got $47,000 from the settlement. Plus, she kept her car. Then where did the money go? Daniela asked. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, turned it so everyone at my end of the table could see the transaction history. November 2021. Maria Herrera, 1500 December 2021. Maria Herrera, 1500 January 2022. Maria Herrera, 1500 scrolled down, and down, and down. August 2024. Maria Herrera, 500 September 2024. Maria Herrera, $500. October 2024. Maria Herrera, $500. 36 payments. $54,000. Jesus Christ, Uncle Mike breathed. Plus groceries, I added. Twice a month I'd buy her groceries, about $200 each trip. That's another $14,000 give or take. And her car insurance, $200 a month, another $7,000 over 3 years. I did the math out loud. $75,000. That's what the useless son has paid over 3 years. My cousin Jennifer, the successful one, the lawyer everyone compared me to, was staring at her plate. Marcus, we all thought you were barely making ends meet. That's what Mom told you. She said you were struggling, Jennifer continued, that your job didn't pay well, that you could barely afford your apartment. She glanced at her husband. We took you out to dinner last month, insisted on paying because we felt sorry for you. I remembered that dinner, the pitying looks, the careful questions about whether I'd thought about going back to school or learning a trade, the 20-minute speech from Jennifer's husband about how it's never too late to turn things around. I'd paid Mom's rent 3 days later, like always. How much does your apartment cost? Dad asked. His voice was very quiet. $800 a month. The table went silent again, everyone doing the math. I'd been spending nearly double on my mother than on myself. And your car payment? Dad pressed. Don't have one. I bought my Honda used for cash 4 years ago. Groceries for yourself? Maybe $200 a month. I eat a lot of pasta and rice. Marcus, Daniela's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked me not to. Said it would embarrass her if people knew she needed help. Said it was between us. That family helps family quietly without making a big deal about it. Family helps family, my grandmother repeated slowly. She was looking at Mom with an expression I'd never seen before. Cold, calculating. Is that what you told him, Maria? Mom's mouth opened, closed. I didn't. He's twisting this. How much do you make at your job? Uncle Mike asked Mom directly. That's none of your business. You work part-time at Target, Daniela said. You've told us. 20 hours a week. Minimum wage in Texas is $7.25. That's what, maybe $600 a month after taxes? My job is very stressful. So you're bringing in about $600 a month, Uncle Mike continued, ignoring her. Your rent is $1,500. Marcus was paying that, plus groceries, plus car insurance. What the hell were you spending your own money on? Silence. Mom Mom, I said quietly. Want to tell them about the car? Her face went white. What car? Dad asked. The 2023 Mazda CX-5 she's been driving. Bought it new last year. Financed, not leased. Payments about $400 a month. You told me you leased it, Daniela said. You said the lease was cheap because of your good credit. I have excellent credit. Want to tell them about the purses? I asked. Mom's jaw clenched. Purses? My Aunt Rosa leaned forward. What purses? I've been to Mom's apartment 3 times in the last year, I said. She's got a walk-in closet. 12 designer bags. Coach, Michael Kors, Kate Spade. I looked them up. About $300 to $500 each. You went through my closet? Mom shrieked. You asked me to help you organize it in July, remember? Said your back was hurting and you needed help moving things around. My cousin Jennifer was doing math on her phone. That's $4,000 to $6,000 in handbags alone, while Marcus was eating pasta and rice to afford your rent. And the trips, my Aunt Rosa said suddenly. She was looking at Mom with dawning realization. You went to Galveston in March, San Antonio in June, that wine tour in Fredericksburg in September. You posted photos all over Facebook. I deserve to have a life. On whose dime? Rosa's voice went sharp. While you were telling everyone your son was a failure? I never said failure. You called him useless, Daniela cut in. Literally 5 minutes ago, in front of everyone. That was a joke. You've been calling him a disappointment for 3 years, Jennifer said. She was scrolling through her phone now. I have texts from you. Look, from April. Poor Marcus. He just can't seem to get his life together. From August. I wish he'd been more like you, ambitious and driven. From last month. Sometimes I wonder where I went wrong with him. She turned the phone around, showed the table. Mom's face was scarlet now. I was venting. Mothers are allowed to vent. While he was paying your bills, Dad said. His voice was very, very cold. While he was supporting you, you were trash-talking him to everyone we know. He offered. He wanted to help. Did I? I pulled up my text messages, started scrolling back, found what I was looking for. November 2021, right after the divorce. You texted me at 11:47 p.m. I'm going to be homeless. Your father took everything. I have nothing. You're all I have. Please. I read it out loud. The table was silent. Then the next message. You owe me this. I gave up my body to have you. 9 months of hell, 20 hours of labor. I ruined myself bringing you into this world. The least you can do is make sure I have a roof over my head. My grandmother made a small sound, something between a gasp and a groan. Then another one. If you don't help me, I'll lose everything. I'll be on the street. Is that what you want? Your mother homeless? Can you live with that? I looked up from my phone, looked at Mom. You want me to keep reading? I've got 3 years of messages like this. Those were taken out of context. What context makes it okay to tell your son he owes you for being born? Nobody answered. I stopped the automatic payment yesterday, I said. November's rent was due yesterday. Your landlord should be getting the notice right about now that the payment isn't coming. Mom's face went from red to white in an instant. You can't do that. I'll be homeless. You said I was useless. Useless people don't pay $1,500 a month in rent. You can't just abandon me like you abandoned any sense of decency? Daniela's voice was shaking. My God, Mom, how could you? He's my son. He's supposed to take care of me. You're 52 years old, Dad exploded. He slammed his hand on the table. Glasses rattled. You're not elderly. You're not disabled. You work part-time by choice because you don't like being tied down. And you've been bleeding your son dry while mocking him to everyone who'll listen? I have expenses. You have 12 designer handbags, Daniela shouted. I've seen them. You showed them to me. You were bragging about them. I deserve nice things. On your son's dime while calling him useless? My grandmother's voice cut through the chaos. Everyone went quiet. While he lives in a closet and eats pasta so you can go on wine tours? Mom looked around the table. Every single person was staring at her with expressions ranging from disgust to outright fury. Fine. She grabbed her purse, a Kate Spade, I noticed, probably $400, and stood up. You want to see me fail? You want to watch me lose everything? Fine. Let's see how you all feel when I'm living in my car. You won't be living in your car, I said calmly. You'll figure something out. Get a full-time job. Find a roommate. Move to a cheaper apartment. You know, the things you've been telling me I should do for 3 years. You're abandoning your mother. No, I'm stopping being your ATM. There's a difference. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. Mom looked at Dad. Are you going to let him do this to me? Dad leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms. You lied to me for 3 years. Lied to everyone. Made our son into a piggy bank while destroying his reputation. Yeah, Maria, I'm going to let him do this. You're all ganging up on me. I'm the victim here. The victim? My Aunt Rosa stood up. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, but her voice filled the room. The victim is the kid who's been eating rice and beans so you can carry designer bags. Get out of my house. This is Thanksgiving. Get out. Mom looked around one more time, waiting for someone to defend her, to tell me I was being too harsh, to remind everyone that family is family. Nobody said a word. She left. The door slammed hard enough to rattle the windows. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then my grandmother got up, came around the table, and pulled me into a hug. I'm sorry, she whispered. We all believed her. We should have known better. It's okay, abuela. No, mijo, it's not. But it will be. My phone started buzzing at 8:47 p.m. I was back at my apartment, my tiny $800 a month studio, lying on my couch, couch and staring at the ceiling, feeling simultaneously relieved and guilty and exhausted. The first call was from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail notification popped up 30 seconds later. I played it on speaker. Mr. Herrera, this is David Chen from Parkside Property Management. Your mother just called me in a panic saying November's rent payment was a mistake. She's demanding I accept a personal check. I wanted to confirm with you, are you no longer handling her rent payments? I called him back. Mr. Chen, this is Marcus Herrera. That's correct. I'm no longer paying my mother's rent. As of yesterday, I closed the automatic payment account. Whatever arrangement she wants to make with you is between you and her. Understood. I appreciate the heads up. A pause. Mr. Herrera, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but for what it's worth, she's 2 months behind on utilities. The electric company and water department have both contacted me. I've been waiting for your rent payment to clear before starting eviction proceedings. My stomach dropped. 2 months? Yes, sir. So she's actually behind about $1,800 total. Rent plus utilities. I'll need to see that cleared before the end of the month or I'll have to file. That's between you and her. I'm not involved anymore. Fair enough. Have a good evening. I hung up and stared at my phone. 2 months behind on utilities, while I'd been paying her rent faithfully every month. What the hell had she been spending her money on? The calls kept coming. 9:15 p.m. Mom, from a number I didn't recognize. Probably borrowed someone's phone since I'd blocked her usual number months ago. I declined it. 9:18 p.m. Mom again. Declined. 9:22 p.m. A text from Daniela. Are you okay? I replied, yeah, weird, but okay. You? Dad's been on the phone with lawyers for an hour. He's going back through the divorce settlement. Thinks Mom might have lied about other things too. Probably. I'm sorry we didn't see it. We should have. Not your fault. She's good at hiding things. 9:45 p.m. Uncle Mike called. Hey, I answered. Marcus, how you holding up? I'm okay. Listen, your aunt and I were talking. That apartment you're in, how's the lease situation? Month to month. Why? Because we've got a rental property in Cedar Park. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, nothing fancy, but it's clean and safe. We're asking $1,100 a month, but I'll do $900 for you. You deserve better than that shoebox you're in. My throat went tight. Uncle Mike, I can't. You can. You've been living below your means for 3 years to support someone who didn't appreciate it. Time to take care of yourself. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. Offer expires when you come to your senses. He hung up before I could argue. 10:30. Dad called. Son, you got a minute? Yeah. I went through everything. The divorce papers, the financial disclosures, the settlement agreement. Your mother lied about a lot of things. Like what? She told you I took everything in the divorce. That's not true. We split assets 50-50. She got $47,000 in cash from the sale of the house, plus her car, plus half my 401k, another $32,000. She walked away with almost $80,000. I felt sick. She told me she got nothing. I know. She told me the same thing in reverse. Said you'd been helping her because I'd left her destitute. His voice went rough. I'm sorry. I should have verified. Should have asked more questions. It's not your fault, Dad. It is, though. I knew she had a tendency to manipulate. That's part of why I left. But I never thought she'd do it to her own kids. We sat in silence for a moment. Marcus, I want to help. Let me cover your rent for a few months. Or help you move to something better. Whatever you need. I'm okay, Dad. Really. You've been eating rice and beans for 3 years. And now, I don't have to. I can actually afford real food. I'm good. The offer stands. Anything you need. Thanks, Dad. 11:47 p.m. Another voicemail from the same unknown number. Mom again, probably. I almost didn't listen to it, but curiosity won. Marcus, please, I'm begging you. I don't have the rent money. I don't have the utility money. David says he's going to evict me if I don't pay by Friday. Please, I'll do anything. I'm sorry about what I said. I didn't mean it. You're not useless. You're wonderful. You're the best son anyone could ask for. Please don't do this to me. I deleted the voicemail without finishing it. Friday came. November 29th, 2024. I got a call at 2:15 p.m. from David Chen again. Mr. Herrera, I wanted to give you an update even though you're no longer involved. Your mother didn't pay the rent or the utility arrears. I've filed for eviction. She has 30 days to vacate. Okay, she's been calling me every day, sometimes multiple times a day, crying, begging, making promises she can't keep. I wanted you to know I'm not budging. I've got bills to pay too. I understand. She tried to tell me you'd stolen from her, that you'd taken money that was rightfully hers, and that's why she couldn't pay. I told her that's between you and her, not my concern. Appreciate it. Take care of yourself, Mr. Herrera. December brought more revelations. My grandmother called on the 5th. Marcus, I need to tell you something about your mother. Something I should have told you years ago. Okay, she's always been like this. Ever since she was a teenager, she'd manipulate people, lie to get what she wanted, play the victim when things didn't go her way. Why didn't you say anything? Because she's my daughter, and I kept thinking she'd grow out of it, that having children would change her, that responsibility would mature her. A heavy sigh. I was wrong. Abuela, no, let me finish. When you started paying her rent, I thought it was temporary, a few months to get her back on her feet. But 3 years? I should have asked more questions, should have checked on you. I'm sorry, mijo. It's not your fault. It is. We're family. We're supposed to look out for each other, and we all failed you. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment, my small, affordable, suddenly comfortable apartment, and cried for the first time in 3 years. Not for what I'd lost, for what I'd never had. Christmas was strange. strange. The family gathering was at Daniela's house this year. Smaller, just immediate family. Mom wasn't invited. Dad brought his new girlfriend, a woman named Patricia who taught middle school English and laughed at his bad jokes. She was nice, normal. Daniela's husband grilled steaks. Uncle Mike brought his famous potato salad. Abuela made tamales. And I brought wine. Good wine. The expensive kind I'd never let myself buy before. To Marcus, Dad said, raising his glass, for teaching us all what self-respect looks like. To Marcus, everyone echoed. We ate, we laughed, we played board games and argued about the rules and took too many pictures. It felt like family, real family, not the obligatory kind, the chosen kind. Mom called on Christmas Day. I'd unblocked her number. Seemed petty to keep it blocked forever. The call came at 9:47 p.m. I answered. Merry Christmas, she said. Her voice was small, different. Merry Christmas, Mom. I wanted to apologize for everything, for how I treated you, for the things I said, for taking advantage of you. Okay? I got evicted. I'm staying with a friend right now. Her couch. It's temporary. I'm sorry to hear that. I got a full-time job at Target. 40 hours a week. It's hard. My feet hurt all the time, but I'm doing it. That's good. A long pause. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I thought about that. Really thought about it. Maybe, I said finally, but not today. And not because you're struggling. Forgiveness doesn't work like that. I know. If you want a relationship with me, it has to be real. No more manipulation. No more guilt trips. No more lies. I understand. And I'm never paying your bills again. Ever. Even if you're really truly struggling, you're an adult. You figure it out. I know. Okay. Another pause. Merry Christmas, Marcus. I do love you, even if I'm terrible at showing it. Merry Christmas, Mom. I hung up. I didn't believe her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was a start. January 15th, 2025. I signed a lease on Uncle Mike's rental property. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, small backyard, $900 a month. Felt like a mansion after the studio. I bought a real dining table, a decent couch, a bed that wasn't a futon. Started taking cooking classes at the community college. Learned to make things that weren't pasta or rice. Gained back the 15 pounds I'd lost over 3 years of budgeting. Started dating a woman named Sarah I'd met at the cooking class. She was a paralegal. Funny, kind. Didn't ask me for money. I told her about Mom on the 3rd date. The whole story. Expected her to run. She didn't. My brother's like that, she said. Not with money. With emotional manipulation. I had to cut him off 2 years ago. Was it hard? Hardest thing I've ever done. But also the most necessary. We understood each other. March 2025. Mom called again. I have my own apartment now. 1 bedroom, $850 a month. I'm making it work. That's great, Mom. I wanted you to know I'm doing it on my own. No help. I'm proud of you. Really? Really. She started calling once a month after that, just to talk. About work. About life. About nothing in particular. I kept the calls short, friendly but boundaried. It wasn't the relationship we used to have. It was better. Thanksgiving 2025. We were back at Aunt Rosa's house. The whole family. Even some cousins who hadn't come last year, curious about the drama they'd missed. Mom wasn't invited, but she'd texted me that morning, have a good Thanksgiving. I'm spending it with my coworkers. We're doing a potluck. I'd replied, sounds nice. Enjoy. As we sat down to eat, Uncle Mike raised his glass. I want to make a toast to family. Not the kind you're born with, but the kind you choose. The kind that shows up. The kind that tells the truth even when it's hard. To family, we all echoed. I looked around the table, at Dad and Patricia, at Daniela and her husband, at Abuela, at the cousins and aunts and uncles who'd stopped pitying me and started respecting me, at the empty chair where Mom used to sit. You okay? Sarah whispered. She was next to me, hand warm in mine. Yeah, I said. I really am. And I meant it. 2 years after that Thanksgiving dinner, Mom sent me a text. I got a promotion. Assistant manager. It's not much, but it's mine. Earned it myself. Congratulations, Mom. That's amazing. Thank you for everything, for setting boundaries, for forcing me to grow up, for not giving up on me even when I gave you every reason to. I stared at that message for a long time. You're welcome. Can we have coffee sometime? Just to talk. No agenda. I'll buy. I'll think about it. That's all I can ask for. I never did meet her for coffee. Not because I was angry, not because I hadn't forgiven her, but because some relationships aren't meant to be fixed. They're meant to be transformed. And sometimes the healthiest transformation is distance. Mom and I text now, once a month maybe. Surface level stuff. She tells me about work. I tell her about Sarah, my wife now, as of 6 months ago. She sent a wedding gift, a card with a $100 bill inside. The card said, I know it's not much, but it's mine. Earned, honestly. I'm proud of you. I cried when I read it, not because we'd reconciled, but because she'd finally learned the difference between manipulation and genuine connection. And that was enough. People ask me sometimes if I regret confronting Mom that Thanksgiving, if I wish I'd handled it differently, more privately, less dramatically. The answer is no, because that public confrontation did something private conversation never could. It forced everyone, Mom included, to see the truth, to stop making excuses, to stop enabling. It was the kindest thing I could have done, not just for me, but for her too, because sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is refuse to save them from themselves. 3 years after that Thanksgiving, I ran into one of Mom's co-workers at the grocery store. You're Maria's son, right? She asked. Marcus? Yeah, I just wanted to say, your mom talks about you sometimes, about how you helped her become independent, how you taught her self-respect, self-respect. She said that? She did. She said you're the reason she finally grew up. The woman smiled. I don't know the whole story, but I know she's proud of you. Really proud. Thank you for telling me that. I drove home thinking about that conversation, about how the story had changed in Mom's head, how she'd reframed our history into something she could live with. I was okay with that, because the truth is, it doesn't matter whose version of the story is right. What matters is that we both survived it, both grew from it, both became better versions of ourselves. Sarah and I are buying a house now, 3 bedrooms, modest but ours. Dad and Patricia are getting married next spring. He seems happy, really happy. Daniela had a baby, a girl. She named her Rosa, after our aunt. Mom sent a gift, a handmade blanket. The card said, "For the newest member of the family, with love from Grandma." Daniela cried when she opened it, called Mom to say thank you. They talk sometimes now, carefully, with boundaries, but they talk. I'm happy for them. Me? I still keep my distance, still maintain those boundaries I set 4 years ago, but I'm not angry anymore.